Support for H.R. 3779 from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the American Society of Civil Engineers, the Association of California Water Agencies, Portland Cement Association, and the National Audubon Society. I'd also like to recognize the Mississippi River Cities and Towns initiatives for their work and advocacy on this bill. I rise today in support of H.R. 3779, the Resilience Revolving Loan Fund Act of 2019. I want to start by thanking Representatives Rodney Davis and Rick Crawford for their efforts to make this a truly bipartisan bill. I also would like to note the hard work of my local mayors, particularly Mayor Sean Dowse of Red Wing, Mayor Tanya Velishek of Jordan, and Mayor Mary Fassbender of Hastings for their praiseworthy work on the ground. Each of us knows that natural disasters don't distinguish between red districts and blue districts. Unprecedented flooding in the heartland, ravaging wildfires in the west, Category 5 hurricanes staring down the southeast, devastations that used to happen once in a lifetime are happening twice in a decade. The cities and towns we represent are struggling with the increased frequency and severity of these catastrophic events. I've heard from mayors of these small river towns up and down the Mississippi and Minnesota rivers where I represent, and the terrible damage to the critical infrastructure and the financial challenges to recover and rebuild. Communities on the ground need proactive solutions, and creating the Resilience Revolving Fund is one way we can really help these communities take action. This bill authorizes state revolving loan funds facilitated and capitalized by FEMA with one key directive: issuing low-interest loans for pre-disaster mitigation projects. Modeled after the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, as the chairman said, which passed with bipartisan support in 1996, Congress would make limited appropriation to FEMA, and that would yield positive impacts for communities across the nation. As these localities repay their loans, the repayments and the interest flow back into the revolving fund. Mayors, city councils, and county commissioners know the projects they need to get done, and this legislation establishes the loan fund and leaves it up to localities to decide what projects need the low-interest financing. And I do want to do a shout out to my colleague, Mr. Meadows, for calling this common sense. Democrats don't get called that very often in hearings, so thank you for that. As the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Studies have shown that $1 of pre-disaster mitigation saves $6 of post-disaster spending. Each of us comes to work every day to make the communities we represent stronger, smarter, and more resilient. The Resilience Revolving Loan Act is our chance to give local leaders that additional tool. I ask for the committee's support, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I thank General Representative Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And